Lucy swiped left on a profile that didn't have a bio and only had one fuzzy picture of a female bare chest. She didn't think she'd ever meet someone real because dating apps were always a chore. After a moment, she saw a face with warm brown eyes, short hair, and a real smile. Max was his name. His short bio said, musician new to town, looking to chat over coffee someday. He seemed honest, at least. When Lucy matched, a reply showed up right away. Hi there. I'm still getting used to it. Would you like to grab a drink tonight? She wasn't sure what to do, but Max seemed nice. I'm free now if you want to meet somewhere public, she said. How about Joe's Cafe? I was hoping to relax privately if you're comfortable, Max put in. I'm home alone tonight and would enjoy some company. Lucy bit her lip. Her friends told her not to invite strangers over, but Max seemed like a nice person. She said, Okay, just for a bit. What's your address? Max sent Lucy a message with the information, and Lucy put it into maps. A row of simple houses could be seen on the quiet street in the suburbs. She checked the number again and parked outside. As she got out of her car, Max waved from an upstairs window and was gone. Before she knocked, the front door was already open. Come on in, Max said with a smile, taking her hand and pulling her inside. Lucy's stomach churned nervously when he touched her, but she smiled back and looked around at the simple furniture. He asked, Can I get you something to drink? I've got water, juice, beer. Water's fine, thanks. Lucy went into the kitchen with him and took the cold bottle. There was something off about the clean room that didn't have any personal items in it. She asked, So you just moved in? Yep, still getting settled. When Max leaned against the counter and looked at her, she moved her feet. She took a long drink of water to get away from his long stare. He said softly, I love your hair, and he stroked a lock that was hanging over her shoulder. Lucy took a nervous step back. I should probably get going soon. I have an early class tomorrow. As an excuse to get away from him, she looked for her purse. With dark eyes, Max stood in her way. Come on, stay a little longer. I promise to look after you well. He wrapped his strong hand around her wrist. She yanked herself free with a gasp. No, I'm leaving now. When Lucy ran for the front door, it was locked from the inside. She felt scared as Max's heavy footsteps got closer. She turned around and was about to scream. As they got closer to the dark house, the headlights slowly moved across the living room window. Lucy used the brake to her advantage and slammed her elbow into Max's nose, which felt good. He fell backwards and howled as she smashed open the door and ran outside. As she searched for her keys in her stopped car, gravel flew under her shoes. The van sat at the end of the road and did nothing while it watched. As Lucy shook open her car door, her heart was racing, but she didn't pay attention. She was so scared that she dropped her keys and had to get down on her knees to get them. The van's engine sped up. Lucy rushed inside and locked her doors just as the dark figure pulled up behind her. She took a shaky breath as the driver's window came down and revealed nothing but darkness inside. Then the car's headlights came on, making her mirrors useless. Lucy slammed her car's key into the engine and threw it into reverse. As she let off the gas, the tires squealed. The van sped forward with a roar, but she was ready. She swung the turning wheel around to go fast into the night. Lucy drove with shaky hands and looked in the rearview mirror every few seconds until she got to her apartment, where she felt safe. As soon as she got inside, she fell against the door and started crying because she was so scared. She just barely got away from something scary. But what was Max hiding at that empty house? Lucy woke up soaked in sweat, and the dream scenes were still very clear in her mind. Still shaking, she looked at her phone and saw that Max hadn't sent her any new texts. She didn't want to hear from him again. The sun had come up, showing that this was now real. She stumbled as she walked to the kitchen to start a pot of coffee. Her hands were shaking. Lucy tried to remember what happened the night before as the smell of something bitter filled her small room. There was something wrong with that house, and Max's behavior was completely out of line from the start. The title of an app on her phone caught her attention: How to Spot Catfishing on Dating Apps. She read the signs, which said things like no real social media presence, vague job descriptions, and pressed for quick meetups. Max fit the shape just right. Lucy felt a spark of anger in her chest. She didn't want to be another number, and she wasn't afraid to speak out. Lucy curled up on the couch with a hot drink and opened up maps on her laptop. She then put in Max's supposed address. She was shocked by the results. The street was real, but that house number wasn't. To be sure, she checked again by zooming in on the satellite pictures. As the truth hit her, a chill went down her spine. What was the point of making Max up? Lucy had a feeling that he was out to hurt her, and she probably wasn't the only one. Her hands became steady as determination took the place of fear. She knew what to do next. Lucy drove straight to the police station after getting dressed on purpose. There were signs about safety, fraud, and missing people on the walls of the lobby. She was careful as she walked up to the front desk. "I'd like to report an attempted assault." The police officer paid close attention as Lucy told the whole story of what happened the night before, not leaving out any details, no matter how small or unimportant they seem. He took pages of notes without stopping, and his serious face didn't change. "Thank you for coming forward," he said softly when she was done. "I know how hard this must have been for you." Lucy nodded, feeling better about how serious he seemed. "We're going to start an investigation right away. For now, please don't get in touch with this Max again, and keep an eye on your own safety. Please let me know right away if anything else occurs, no matter how small it may seem." She got a card from him. "You can call my direct line at any time, day or night. You did the right thing by telling people about this." After thanking the officer, Lucy felt better but still uneasy. She checked her shoulders so many times during the day that she lost track of time. That night, a knock woke her up from her worried thoughts. Before she looked through the peephole, she tightened her grip on the baseball bat she kept by the door. It was Detective Ross, and his badge shone in the dim light. She let out a big breath and slowly opened the door. "Any updates?" He made a face that didn't go all the way to his eyes. "I have been looking into it all day. Max's information didn't match up in any of the databases we checked. It looks like a carefully made-up identity that was only meant for this reason." She got chills when he spoke. "So it wasn't just me, was it?" The detective let out a heavy sigh. "No. I'm afraid that events like this often target a lot of weak people before we find out about them. Could you take a look at some case files and let me know what you think? 2 extra sets of eyes might help you see things in a new way." Lucy didn't think twice. "I'll do whatever I can to help prevent this from happening to someone else." He gave a polite nod. "Thank you for being brave, miss. Please come with me to the station. There is a lot to do, but every little thing could make a difference." She locked up and got into his car, getting ready for what was going to happen. As Lucy told the agent about Max's profile, the drive went by quickly. She was hoping that something would spark a lead. When they got there, they went to his simple office, which had evidence boards and case files all over the walls. The stacks of papers on his desk made her stomach turn. Each one of them represented a life that had gone badly. But Lucy wouldn't think about her fears when other people needed her strength. She sat down and took out the first plastic folder. She was determined to find out what was going on with this evil plan and keep other people from falling for its tricks. Lucy spent weeks and months going through case files late at night, looking for any link the cops might have missed. She and Detective Ross got along great while working together, and his stern personality changed as they did their jobs together. Every day, more reports of fake dating app profiles came out, which kept them busy looking for new leads. Lucy saw a file about a victim named Amanda, who didn't show up for the meeting she agreed to have with Jason at a laundry. Some vague information from Max's profile about doing laundry came back to her. There must be more to this than meets the eye. She quickly told Detective Ross what was on her mind. It's a stretch, but hear me out. They both made up names and hazy plans to meet up in a public but private place. This happened right after I told Max about it. Ross's brow wrinkled as he thought about her idea. You might have a point. I'll look into any homes that are close to the laundry. Thrilled, he called Lucy the next afternoon. A run-down house across the street was sold a few weeks before Amanda went missing. I'm going to get a search warrant right now. Come see me in an hour. When she got there, she saw police going in and out of the broken-down house looking for signs. Ross came out with an evidence bag that had a slip of paper inside with Amanda's name and last known position on it. Lucy leaned against the car to feel better. You helped make this case much easier to understand. Without your help, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Even though his praise made her heart grow, she couldn't shake the bad thought that there must be more victims out there that she hadn't seen yet. Ross knew about her fears after she told him about them over late-night takeout in his office. These people are still at work, bringing in new victims even as we speak. We need to get them to come out. He let out a heavy sigh. I understand, but going underground is too dangerous. One mistake could kill someone. There must be a better way to do this. Lucy had a bright idea. I'll make a fake page and act like the bait. But you'll be keeping an eye on everything I do and following any texts back to where they came from. As soon as things get sketchy, we pull out. How do you feel? Ross gave a strong, shaky head. There is no way that could happen. I won't put a person in danger. He fixed his stern look on her. Please forgive me, sir, but I'm not asking for approval. In the end, these monsters win as long as they are free. Please let me finally catch them with my skills. He looked at her face and saw that she had fire in her eyes that wouldn't go away. Okay, I'll do it your way. Trouble, on the other hand, means you're out no matter what. Ross started getting warrants and monitoring gear ready for the operation. Lucy made her new page that weekend, using the name Jean as an alias. Then she got to wait. Within hours, she was matched with several men, most of whom seemed honest, but a few who raised red flags. One person sent a message right away. Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm also new here. What's your favorite thing to do? As she typed, her heart beat faster. I like taking walks along the river trail. Have you been? Mike answered. No, but it sounds nice. Do you want to go? After work, I'm free. Yes, bingo. Ross tracked down the number and found out where it was coming from. An empty church just outside of town. There was a trap set. It was now a race against time to get proof before Mike saw through the trick. Lucy calmed down because she knew that keeping her cool would save lives. Finally, the end was in sight. As night fell, Lucy parked far away from the falling church and watched Mike's truck pull into the cracked lot. She had earlier put secret cameras in her car to record everything she did. As her heart beat fast, she sent the signal to Ross and watched as an unmarked van pulled up next to her through darkened windows. You're sure about this? Ross checked from the driver's seat one last time. He tapped his earphones when she gave him a firm nod. Team in position. Move in on my mark. Taking a deep breath, Lucy walked outside with her phone in her hand, as if she were waiting. Mike came out with a friendly wave, but his eyes stayed on her in a strange way. Are you sure, Jean? My name is Mike. A shy smile crossed her face, and she said, Hey, thanks for meeting. It's really... The van doors flew open, and 3 police cars sped into the lot with their lights flashing before she could finish. Police, don't move. People with guns came out in droves, and Lucy ran to Ross's side. Mike stopped in his tracks and screamed as he ran into the trees. 2 police officers ran after him and quickly threw his big body to the wet grass. Back at the van, Lucy saw his handcuffed body being roughly pushed into a car. When she saw how well the night went, her poker face broke into a happy grin. Still, their work wasn't done. Ross led the team inside while Lucy stayed in the van and watched with cameras on anything that happened inside. Loud voices could be heard before two guys were dragged out while swearing and kicking. The next few hours were filled with a lot of action. More drugged and scared, but still living victims were found in a hidden cellar. People who were involved were arrested and medical help was sent to the scene. Lucy's legs gave out in relief when the last sound went off. She fell to the steps of the van as her adrenaline crashed. Ross walked in quietly, 2 hot mugs. "That was good of you tonight. Tomorrow, I'll file your formal statement, so please take it easy for now." His soft smile told her he was deeply grateful in a way that words could not express. After a few weeks, Lucy sat quietly in court, almost at the end of the case. Mike and his friends were found guilty of all charges and will not be able to go free for decades. As the final blow of the gavel was heard, she let out a long breath and tears finally came. Others wouldn't have to go through what she did. Ross was waiting outside as usual, and his pride could be seen in his old face. "It's over. Move on. Fear not, for you saved lives by being brave and determined. Thanks a lot." Lucy gave a warm smile. "No. Thanks for having faith in me. After all this time, I think we both deserve a party. Tonight, I'll pay for dinner, detective." He laughed softly and held a door open. A new story would start tomorrow, but today was a hard day for justice. Because one girl had the guts to stand up for what she believed in and fight for it, no matter what. They were all impressed by how tough she was.